What's going on, everyone? My name is Nicholas Merton here at DataDash, and today is June 4th of 2018. Well, folks, it's time for a daily update here on the DataDash channel, and today we have a lot of key things to discuss in regards to the update. First and foremost, as always, we're going to be spending some time looking at market valuations as well as doing some technical analysis on the market leaders. But outside of this as well, we have some key topics to discuss. The first thing we have to talk about has to do with a very hyped up ICO finally hitting exchanges. I'm going to be sharing my thoughts on the project itself as well as what to look out for. Along with that as well, we have some positive developments in regards to Japan. We have one of the largest Japanese financial service companies coming out in support of cryptocurrencies by launching a cryptocurrency exchange. We'll talk about the details in that later on in the video. And last but not least, I want to share a really interesting article in regards to smart contracts and some of the positives and negatives in regards to their use case later on in the video. So we've got lots of things to discuss. Let's not push it off any longer and dive right in to the daily update. So as you all probably noticed over the past few days, I was absent from the channel. I definitely took a few days off. I was busy with a few other things as well outside the channel, but nonetheless, we had some really nice positive price action over the past few days. And of course, when I come back, look what happens, guys. We get some red action in the market. So it's definitely not fun to see some downside action, but we definitely had some good green days over the past few days. And obviously we can see we don't really have much players in the green, only a few select players. But for the most part, generally just, a general 5 to 8% down day for cryptocurrencies. This is following a 2 to 3% reduction in Bitcoin. So pretty expected after all these days. So we'll talk a little bit about, where we see Bitcoin going over the next few days and hopefully looking towards getting a bottom in the market, guys. We've been definitely seeing some signs that we're ready to start ticking up, but at the same time, we're still facing that same issue of a lack of liquidity at the moment. So we'll do some TA on Bitcoin, give some direction on the markets from there. First, however, we have to take a look here at market valuations. So as we take a look here, we finally had gotten a little bit of a rebound over the past few days, but taking it down to the 7-day here, we finally have a correction, wiping off close to around $20 billion in valuation in cryptocurrency markets. But again, nothing serious to the sell side, guys. Again, it's the same kind of manipulative pattern we're seeing, I think, what a lot of margin traders are doing right now in the market, where we're not seeing any liquidity come in on the sell side or really the buy side. It's pretty neutral across the board. So I think a lot of this price action could obviously easily be corrected because we haven't seen matching volume coming in on the buy side, bringing in pressure. And as we go down here, altcoins again are feeling the same exact pain. Going here though to dominance for the market though, we can see that Bitcoin dominance did not pass 40%. So I'll be fair with you guys, I think we did see the bottom of the market, and I'll be talking about how I think we've reached the bottom in the sense of being able to analyze some TA. Oops, sorry about that, I didn't mean to jump. I was actually trying to bring the chart down so you guys could see the full thing. But as you all can probably tell, market dominance for Bitcoin is depleting. It got a little bit of a rebound, obviously, with the correction. Always tends to happen. But other coins are starting to curve back up, gaining strength, as well as Ethereum. I think, again, we're going to continue to see this trend as we've been seeing over the past few months. So before we dive into the TA side of things, guys, I want to let you all know that as you all might have seen the Crypto Uncovered video, the market manipulation video that I put out, if you all liked that, it seemed like most people really liked it. I want to do one of these videos at least once a month, but possibly every 3 to 4 weeks. So I'm going to go ahead and start working on the next video. Go ahead here, guys, on the poll and vote. You got 7 hours left according to when I'm recording this, and you guys can vote for either a deep dive into initial coin offerings, talking about what's going on behind the scenes. Outside of that as well, we've got over-the-counter markets, the OTC markets. We've been talking a lot about this, and the multi-billion dollars of volume that are going off exchange in crypto markets, as well as market manipulation 2.0, which is winning at the moment. So definitely go out there, like it, retweet if you guys can, get the word out, and vote on what you want to see, because I want to hear what you guys want to see on the channel. So either topic we'll definitely talk about, and we'll do a deep dive into it. I'll make sure before I post it to make sure it's quality for you all. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and talk about Bitcoin here, because there's something, a few key things that I want to talk about here. Generally cutting out a lot of the price levels that we've been talking about between 8,000 and 9,000. I want to kind of cut the clutter out of the chart here and focus in on a few things. We obviously know right now, guys, in regards to markets, the biggest issue we have is volume at the moment. We're not seeing any new entry of liquidity at the moment. We still haven't gotten what I'm looking forward to sometime this year, and that is the ETF news. We need some kind of catalyst to get the markets going. What's nice though is that price isn't just going to go, in my opinion, down to $3,000 or $4,000 just because there's a lack of liquidity. It doesn't mean that we can't value Bitcoin at a general range and that we've already seen the majority of the correction. However, At this moment, though, we can see that over the past few days, whereas we had the engulfing candle, we had the price action to the upside close not only past the lows, but above the highs of the previous sell day on May 28th. But along with that as well, we didn't have enough volume with this buildup. This was a very, very bullish pattern right here, folks. To have an engulfing candle and a nice slow buildup like this, it was definitely nice. But at the same time, I think markets are still realizing for the most part that there is no volume. There's no liquidity. Because of that, whether we see this as bullish or not, market manipulators are going to play this quite well. They're going to start dumping on this. And along with that as well, we ran into a moving average that is very important that many people don't look at. Many people get stuck to the 50, the 100-day, and the 200-day. But during these times when we're in a corrective period, I want to see and look at the 21-day moving average. This is another key indicator. It's what's known in my mind and many others in the traditional trading space as a momentum indicator. And when you're getting support, for example, back here, for example, when we get support on the 21-day, many people obviously saw that we had a continued rally and many people thought that we would continue higher. But when we corrected back over and collapsed below the 21-day, we obviously retested back to the lows in April. The 21-day is a positive and negative indicator depending on where we're seeing it. And when you're getting rejected by the 21-day or you're dipping below the 21-day moving average, you can expect a pretty decent correction. Now, I'm not saying we're going to see lower levels than what we saw before. I think what we're going to do is come down and retest this level. And who knows, maybe, just maybe, we might see the 6th of the 6th. As many people have been pointing out each month, it seems like we've been seeing the turning point, whether it be the topping or the bottom, on the 6th of the month. So as you can see here, if you look at the date down below, you can see the topping here was at the 6th. And then on April, it was a bottom at the 6th. So it's very interesting that this is happening. But this is pretty common to have these kind of commonalities in a wedge, as we've been seeing. The price action has been wedging in, guys. So again, I think what we're going to see is probably a drop back down there to really test around the $7,000 range to see if we can garner support. It's just generally what I'm picking up. Again, it's just my opinion. You guys got to see if you see the same thing that I do, but I think that's generally what's happening here. And maybe if we can get another big set of buy volume coming in, another engulfing candle like we saw over here, this would be the indicator that we're getting ready to start building up, that there's going to be a catalyst soon, and that we might be moving higher. So again, that's generally what I'm seeing with Bitcoin here. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments down below. Going on here, let's go ahead and take a look at a few market leaders. Taking a look at Ethereum. Ethereum getting and testing close to the 21-day moving average, but no cigar at the moment, even though we have had a nice rebound here, generally off of the support level we had seen in the past. Not all the way close to it, but generally close. And moving higher, I think this is testing around with two key levels here. You've got 8 million Satoshis as well as the 21-day, which is definitely going to be a contester. We'll go ahead and see that we've garnered some support on the 50-day moving average. I think it's important to note that it's going to be a question as to whether or not this can hold on the 50-day, curve back up, and most likely cup around. I think what you're going to see is generally a correction here onto the 50-day, cup back up, and try to break past the 21-day. And I think that's only going to happen with Bitcoin basis out. So as Bitcoin, I think, continues to deplete towards the 6th or the 7th, you're going to expect altcoins to follow as well. And Ethereum's probably going to get a small dip, come back up, and it might provide a nice breakout point for Ethereum to continue higher. Again, with how hot the ICO space is, guys, it wouldn't surprise me, because what is every project using to raise? Ethereum. So it's always important to keep that in mind. We have to understand what markets are using these coins for. Going on with Ripple here, got to be fair, Ripple has had a nice breakout here over the past few days. I'll be honest, I was kind of unattended to it. I didn't really notice it was going on because I don't really keep my eye on Ripple too much. But it is definitely nice to see that this is getting a little bit of a correction here, seeing if it can garner support on the 50-day. Again, we've been seeing kind of blocky price action, generally sideways price action in regards to Ripple here. So if it can garner support here and hold, I might see if we can possibly do a little bit of a trade on this. But again, we want to make sure it's going to be able to hold support here. We've got matching volume to the upside and to the downside as well. So it might just be some people toying around with Ripple here. We'll have to see if we actually get real liquidity coming into this. So nothing yet, but definitely keeping an eye on it. Going on here to Bitcoin Cash. Bitcoin Cash coming back up, garnering support on the 50-day. Again, if we see Bitcoin correct down to close to the lows in 7,000, guys, I think you're going to see many of these altcoins roll over. But it's good to see that Bitcoin Cash is holding here. Definitely has regained a little bit of the losses we've seen in the market, but I'm not making any trade on it right now. Just nothing interesting at the moment. Now, EOS has been the topic of discussion, if only I can type it properly. And now, here's the thing about EOS, guys. We got EOS on mainnet. Obviously, it's a lot buy the hype, sell the news. You're going to see this with EOS. Mainnet has supposedly gone relatively well so far. There's a lot of positives and criticism in regards to EOS. I think we might have to do a video in the future just talking about EOS and getting some consensus around it, no pun intended. But that all being realized, I think you're going to see this probably close back down to these lows, guys, now that mainnet is over. Generally to where we had the big kind of artificial jump in the market. There's a lot of people pointing towards the artificial aspect that this came up right into mainnet. So again, I think you're going to see this come back down, retest support down on the 50-day as well as the 21-day, which ironically enough are lining up here. And I think that's why you were able to get a big boost there in regards to going into the mainnet launch. The price was holding above these two indicators. So again, I like EOS in a lot of regards, and I think it could be a competing protocol, but at the same time, we need to see this probably come down, find support, and then be able to have price movement much larger over the long term. Going on here to take a look at a few players. Now, I know many people have been hearing me talk negative about Litecoin, and I'm not here to be negative on Litecoin, guys. I think in a fundamental sense, Litecoin doesn't have much differing factors from Bitcoin, again, in a fundamental sense. But again, we're talking about trading, investing, and speculating in a lot of cases in regards to these cryptocurrencies, and we have to factor in TA. Now, what I've been talking about with Litecoin, and I will say I've changed my opinion a tad bit, is that I've been pretty much on the case that, okay, this is below the 21-day, the 50-day, the 200-day, and it's been holding there for a while, that this is going to deplete down towards 1 million Satoshis. Could very well still happen. But I want to take a look here because Litecoin is one of the market leaders. And when you look at market leaders, it's not bad to take a look at the USD. Okay. Now, what I'm looking at here is that we've had a triple bottom so far on the USD for Litecoin. This has been building up for some time. It's a very clear pattern, guys. Again, it's not always hard to trade cryptocurrency. Sometimes you just got to look at the basics. And for the moment, we've been generally holding above a big even of $100. You know, we've seen this 3 times in the past ever since. This is really the breakout period. And I think this is the same thing you're seeing with Bitcoin. If you go back to Bitcoin, for example, you know, Bitcoin has been generally garnering support, whereas it went exponential back in, November and December. So I think it's important to realize that a lot of these cryptocurrencies generally are holding back at the basis before they went absolutely bonkers. They just went absolutely to the upside and exponential. So if we can still hold support here at these levels, I'm going to keep an eye on Litecoin, because if it starts to curve back up, get above the 21-day, get above the 50-day, which is starting to flatten out, it's not dropping anymore. The momentum has stalled on a lot of these players in the USD valuations. We could possibly see this pop up and break out towards the previous December levels over an upcoming altcoin cycle, and maybe go even higher as we've seen in the past. Again, we'll have to see. I'm not making any moves yet. I'm waiting for some price strength confirmation, for some volume. I'm going to keep an eye on it, and if it can get above both of those moving averages, find another base down here again, I definitely would consider a possible trade, swing trade for the next altcoin cycle on Litecoin. But if it breaks down below this green line, I think it's game over for Litecoin for a while, and we're going to see 1 million Satoshi, or 1 million Satoshis before we see any higher levels. Let's go ahead here, take a look at a few more market leaders. ADA BTC, Cardano, having the nice jump up at the same time holding on the 21-day moving average. Now, again, you need to see garnered support here. If we cannot find support here, this is probably going to roll back down to a lower level, probably around 26 or 2,500 Satoshis, or 2,400, coming back down to double bottom as it did over here. And again, we want to see another engulfing candle. We want to see more rebound and sell off on the final candle. We want to see volume coming in, as we saw on Cardano here with some upper volume days in regards to the buy side. Again, we want to see buyers coming in. Taking a look at the USD as well, I think would be important. We can see here that Cardano has been generally holding around the base that it opened at in December in its USD valuation. So we might see a retest down to these levels. I think that'd be very healthy if it came back down to there and was able to hold and then get a rebound strongly off of those levels. Going on here to take a look at a few more players. Icon again showing the exact same kind of, almost not exactly dead cat bounce, but definitely a rollover in price action, to where I think we're going to see again a test down to these levels if we get Bitcoin going down to the low 7,000s again. Going on here to take a look at a few more players. Many people have been asking about nulls. Nulls, we haven't gotten the breakout we were looking for so far. The formation has been very nice, but I think because of the general altcoin climate right now, we haven't seen it. What we might need is another retest towards the 50-day and towards 45,000 Satoshis. And look at that, 50 days riding right up there. So I think that's what we're generally going to see. We'll have to see if we can get the matching volume to come in on the buy side of that price range to prop up the price and hopefully get it above that general cup and handle that we've seen. We'll have to see. Alrighty, so we've talked a little bit about some market leaders here, guys. We'll definitely take a look at a few others over the next coming days, but we have to talk about something that has gotten a lot of hype and a lot of talk, and some people still don't know about. And this is a project known as CorkChain. Now, I think in the future, I definitely might do a fundamental video talking about CorkChain because it's one of many, many upcoming projects in the ICO space, guys. I can't tell you. I do research outside of my cryptocurrency, research on what's on exchange and what's already out there. And guys, there's like literally 6 to 7 ICOs coming out a day that, many people would say you have to look into or give a chance to look into. Many of them will not succeed. But CorkChain is one of the few projects that many people are excited about and got a lot of hype in regards to the ICO space. And now it's got a lot of exchange listings coming for CorkChain. I've talked to some of the team. I've looked into the project. There's some things I can't talk about because I did sign an NDA looking into some of the cool technical aspects of the project. But I will say that CorkChain itself is a very, very interesting project comparative to most. There is some things that I still question about. I want to learn more about it. But we can obviously see it doesn't matter in many cases in the cryptocurrency space and the fundamentals. People will find a way to hype up specific projects. And we can see that it's already got a Binance listing as well as a KuCoin listing. Now, this has been postponed at the moment. They're trying to get enough CorkChain before they actually trade it, but you can already go on Binance and see it on there. It's going to be trading probably in the next few hours or days. If we take a look, though, it's already trading on KuCoin. These are two of the major altcoin exchanges out there, at least for traders in the US. And we can see here that CorkChain is already trading on KuCoin. Now, as many of you might see here, the price right now that it's trading at is 23 cents. It's had a pretty successful launch so far. It's been relatively flat at the moment, bouncing between around 3,200 Satoshis as well as 2,600 Satoshis. So it's been holding its valuation generally well. It's important to note, though, that though 23 cents doesn't sound like a lot, that at the ICO, not even the pre-sale, this was going for less than 2 cents per CorkChain. Okay, that's more already than an 11x in its price. So you can obviously tell there's been a lot of excitement around this, and it's crazy to even think about what people paid for in regards to the pre-sale, which is obviously going to be cheaper than what they paid in the ICO. So I want to keep people rational on this because, as you all know, I work for you guys. I want to tell you guys the truth in these things. There is a lot of hype going into CorkChain. The project itself has a lot of interesting fundamentals, which I recommend you check into if you guys are excited about it. But keep in mind, this is multiplied over and over in regards to price at the moment. And you have to be careful because a lot of the times, the people who get in the pre-sale and the ICO definitely use tools such as some of the market manipulation tools we talked about, such as market makers, individuals who would keep the price up and have all types of different tactics to, make this thing go higher. So I want to keep you guys, informed in the sense that you should definitely be careful. Make sure you apply some solid TA, some fundamentals. Ask yourself if you can trade at these levels, and make sure as well that there's enough liquidity because on KuCoin there is not at the moment. But when it comes to Binance, this thing will have plenty of volume and plenty of market makers. So again, I recommend you check into the fundamentals before you actually trade on this. But I think CorkChain is an interesting project. As you can see, there was a very high interest for this one, and they only raised $20 million. So again, lots and lots of excitement for this project. So just keep an eye on it. Definitely look into it, but play it smart as well. There's going to be tons of these ICOs coming to market. Alrighty, so next up, I want to talk a little bit about strategic business innovators coming out. SBI, one of the largest financial service companies in Japan with a cryptocurrency exchange. Now, this has been something that has been public knowledge, just not really televised that much in regards to the headlines since all the way back in October. They had about 20,000, I think 20,000 participants or 20,000 users from their traditional technology interface and everything, pre-registering for VC Trade, which is the exchange that they've launched for cryptocurrencies. I'm assuming it's virtual currency trade. If I'm reading that correctly, it might be wrong. But going through here, you can read a little bit of details in regards to the exchange listing. They had originally set to launch it previously in earlier part of 2018. However, with the coin check hack hack of over 530 or 540 million NEM. Oh, sorry, it's down here actually. 532 million NEM getting hacked from CoinCheck. Obviously, they postponed it and made sure to take some safe procedures in regards to launching it. But it is definitely good to see that they're going about launching this exchange service and providing more liquidity to crypto markets in Japan. We've been obviously seeing that Japan is one of the top countries of general adoption and acceptance of cryptocurrencies. They've always been on the forefront of adopting new technologies ever since Japan has become an industrial age giant on the planet, especially on the eastern part of the world. And they're always very innovative in regards to taking up new technologies. So it's no surprise that they're launching these exchanges and that they're getting approval from the Financial Service Agency in Japan. So going on here, good positive news in regards to that. One, I thought I would go along as well and share with you guys a really cool smart contract article. Again, just something I found. This is from NANO, otherwise known as Bite Size Capital on Twitter. You guys should definitely go follow him. But definitely a close friend of mine. We met in Australia, and he wrote a really, really interesting article in regards to squashing bugs and stopping heists. This is the title in regards to talking about some of the inefficiencies in smart contracts, some of the risks that come with it, and a lot of the game theory aspects that come along with smart contracts. And we've heard a lot about, in regards to flawed smart contracts causing a lot of issues of losing funds, corrupting smart contracts if they're not properly coded. We have to really kind of learn about how these things function. And I think in the sense of doing your homework, learning a little bit about the tech side, I think it'd be a really cool article to read because it goes through and talks a lot about the kind of the heist aspects of stealing funds from these smart contracts and how it's a very high payoff, a low probability of punishment for trying to corrupt smart contracts because there's no supervision itself. It's just the smart contract alone. And then also the fact of perfect information, the fact that it's all open source, and zero risk for additional attempts at trying to corrupt it. So it's really cool. I love some of the illustrations and just generally how he writes it. I think Ninos has a really good way of generally tackling this topic. So I'll leave it linked down below for you guys. Anyways, that's it for the video. Let me know what you guys think about all these things. Where do you think the market's heading? Where do you think Court Chain is going to go? Where do you think Japan's new exchange is going to go in the long term? Love to hear what you all think down below. Again, I apologize for being away for a few days, so I appreciate you guys being patient, staying tuned, and we'll have a lot of things coming down the pipeline over the next few days. So until the next video, everyone, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Stay tuned.